Hey Bears, let's do some more long division. I need you to tear out page 161 with 162 on the back. Since you're all pros at yesterday's work, I'm going to teach you a couple of new concepts today. With today's problems, the first number in your quotient will not always go over the first number in your dividend. I've already put an X here, and that's what you might want to do because 4 will not go into 2. In other words, you cannot say 2 divided by 4. So put your X right here, and then you say, how many times will 4 go into 27? Well, 27 divided by 4, it will go 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24, and then you subtract. After you subtract, you get a remainder of 3. So that's the second thing in today's work, is that this will not always be a 0 like it was yesterday. So what is left over, you will go up to the top and put remainder 3. Okay, now let's go down to number 1. Read the directions. Mark the number of digits in the quotient. So the quotient is your answer, right? So I put these numbers down here. How many times will 3 go into 1? It will not. How many times will 3 go into 17? 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, and you have remainder 2. Well, it does not ask you to do that. Here's what it's asking you. How many digits are in the quotient? So your answer is 1, so you will mark 1. Fill in the circle for 1 digit. Okay, let's go to the second one, and I'll erase this one. How many times will 5 go into 9? It does go into 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract. 9 minus 5 equals 4. Now, if you'll remember what you did yesterday, the next thing to do is bring down your next number, and that is a 7. How many times will 5 go into 47? 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract, and your remainder is 2. So go back up here to number 2. The number of digits is 2 digits. So at this time you can pause and practice on number 3 and number 4. Okay, let's go to number 5. I'm going to erase this right here. All we have to do now is solve. So, how many times will 8 go into 7? Well, it will not. So, I'm going to put an X, and you don't have to put an X. You can just leave it blank, but this will help you in the beginning. How many times will 8 go into 78, though? And that is 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72. Then we subtract, and we have a remainder of 6. Okay, number 6. 33 divided by 6. How many times will 6 go into 3? It will not. How many times will 6 go into 33? 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract, and we have a remainder of 3. So when you're doing this, when you're trying to decide what this number is going to be, you have to get as close as you can without it going over. So 6 times 5 is 30. If I were to say 6 times 6, it would be 36, and it would be over. Okay, I want to also go back to number 5. And when you're looking at this, the instructions on compare, we need to compare 6 and 8. 6 is less than 8, so you're okay. If you were to have said 8 times and put 64 there instead and had a number down here that was greater than 8, then you would have known that you did it incorrectly. You might want to pause and let that sink in a minute. Okay, let's go to number 7. How many times will 3 go into 1? It will not. How many times will 3 go into 17? 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, and you have remainder 2. Number 8. How many times will 5 go into 4? It will not. How many times will 5 go into 41? 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract, and you have remainder 1. So now you can pause and work these problems. And if you need to use your calculator to check and see if you got them right, or your parents, that is just for you to practice. Now what you need to do is put an S, because even though we're on a video, we synergized. And then turn your paper over. Be sure you have your name, number, date on there, by the way. And page 162 is the one you're going to do for a grade. But what I want to do is go down to number 9 and do this one together, just so you know. Read the instructions. Write an equation, solve and label. Draw a picture to illustrate. So, how many ferry boats are needed to take 27 cars to the island if each boat holds 9 cars? So, we're trying to figure out how many ferry boats. So, how many cars do we have? 27. Each one holds 9. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And we're talking about ferry boats. Be sure and label up here in the directions. It says solve and label. And then the picture, if you don't want to draw ferry boats, just draw circles, I would say. So you need 3 rows of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In your picture space, circle the groups of 3. So you have 27 total, 9 in each group, and 3 ferry boats. Down at the bottom, those are easy, those are multiplication, and that's all there is to it. See you next time.